You're on.
Along with all these arrays of career paths, I want to show you how diverse this really can be. And you'll never get bored with the social work career because you can go from this person who has never had any help in the last, essential years with her daughter here. She says, "Will you help me?" And she has nowhere to turn. You can go to women crisis centers and find this all over the place. And social workers will work with her to get her a shelter and to get her financial aid and the proper documents to mail in to get that kind of stuff, and also look out for the well-being of the child. If the child is malnutrition, they will make sure they will go to the store and buy formula or whatever that child and woman needs at the moment to make sure she's okay. If that's too much of an emotional roller coaster for you, there's a little bit lesser standard, but not really. This girl is in high school. She had a baby, and she had no family support, no money, and no high school diploma. She had no way of adequately caring for this baby. So this social worker made sure she got her GED while the child was being cared for, got her into a foster care family where she is adequately being taken care of, as well as her child financially and physically. She has a shelter every night, and as you can see, she's very happy now, which could have really turned out badly. So that's where one social worker really made a difference. If you're not into that, you can go more of a subtle way, more of a natural way. This lady is entering the end of her life. She lives in a nursing home, and she doesn't, you can tell that she's in a wheelchair. She's very just content. The social worker probably helped her get that wheelchair, paid for it, got it in her possession, probably worked out the financial means. When people like this don't have any family around, social workers are who they turn to. And the end of life is a natural thing. The social worker just has to go with it, be a companion, be a support system, and let them know that they're there and they're not going to go alone. And that can be really rewarding in itself. So with all of these different angles to go into, it's easy to see how you will never get bored within the social work field. If you get burnt out on one field, you can move to another. You're already educated. You have education in all of these. After you get a bachelor's in this, you're ready to go into any of this. It's one of the most satisfying careers that they have. When you help someone who has no one else to turn to, it's pretty easy to tell how it's satisfying and how you can really go to bed at night thinking you made a difference. According to the Wall Street Journal and the CareerJournals.com, the three most cited attributes were the first one was good intellectual stimulation. After you go a day with helping somebody with their life problems, with making them a step further into a more satisfying living condition, it's very satisfying, very stimulating, very intriguing, and when you go home you feel very good about yourself. And it's not just a job, it's very consuming and emotionally satisfying. The second most cited attribute was job security, because there's such a shortage of people who are willing to take the time to just make a difference in these people's lives, and they don't realize that they're missing out on a great stimulation, a great reward at the end of the day after this. And the third attribute was a high level of control and freedom in what to do with the field. Because there's so many different things you can do in it to go to your liking, is you're probably going to find something that just really satisfies what you need to do in life, what you feel you're meant to do. And so my professor once told me that you can never learn this stuff from a textbook. Only experience can teach you what you learn. And I believe that because I did my 20 hours of volunteer service in my intro class here at K-State. And if you go into K-State, they do a very good job of getting you well prepared into going into the field. Just in the introductory classes, you have to do 20 hours of introductory work. And that's where you volunteer as a social worker, and you really get to see what goes on firsthand, make sure it's what you want to go into, and if it is, you proceed from there. And then in the next 2 years, you do role-playing within your classrooms, and you learn to know everybody in your classrooms. It's pretty close-knit, so you don't feel insecure or, self-conscious about role-playing out everything that you're practicing, within practitioner practice. or just helping somebody be a practitioner by being the client that has a case. Then at the end you get to do an internship after all your classroom stuff is done. And then you go into, well, sensibly you would go into whatever you are forcing to be your career. And you make sure that you like that, you get your feet wet, you get a first-handly see what's going on, and if you don't like it, that's the advantage to that, because you get a, you can change, you can apply to different places and test that out. And so that's a great part of K-State's curriculum here. You don't go into, after you graduate, you don't go into it blindsided. You know exactly what you're going into. So in conclusion, social work is a well-rounded field that can most likely mold to your liking and find something that you really find satisfying within your own preferences. Along with being versatile, you're never going to get bored with this, because you never see the same problems twice, and everybody's life is different and diverse. So whatever you're helping to go in a different direction to satisfy somebody, you're never going to get bored with that, because it's always going to change. And that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Question!